Dun, 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 dun. Do-do-do! Do-do-do! We are here to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Find out, is it good? Is it bad? We're going to find out right now. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Tom Cruise is back. He's here with the spy genre, getting out of his plane. So what did I think of it? Before we get into it, though, remember to like and subscribe. I am trying to grow my channel. So try to watch this one all the way through, unless you haven't seen it yet, because I am probably going to get into a little bit of spoilers at the end, but I'll make sure to tell you guys. Give me the thumbs up. All right, let's get started. So, Tom Cruise with his crew back, most of them anyway. And, of course, Alec Baldwin was killed in the last movie, so they brought Kittredge back with Henry Czerny, who was just in Scream, by the way. He had a long stint on Revenge, and he was also in one of my favorite movies, Ready or Not. So we have him back, and I was pretty surprised, too, that Indira Varma, who she was also in that very bad Obi-Wan show, but she was great in Luther, though. And she was here for one scene, but I think she's great. And so let's talk about the cast in general. So we have Simon Pegg back as Benji. We have Ving Rhames back, which, again, they didn't normally put them in the same movie because they have the same job. They're the tech guys. But since Benji went into the field more, he's not as redundant. So they figure out how to, play them against one another. Of course, he was also in Fallout as well, both of them together, kind of doing their own thing. But again, that Benji was was more in the field, and Ving was more in the van. In fact, he said, "I want to be in the van." So we have Rebecca Ferguson returning as Ilsa. And we have the newest addition, which is Haley Atwell. And I was kind of surprised that she was second credit down from Tom Cruise, considering she was the new girl on the block. And we knew that we had a lot of returning people, including Ferguson. And but anyway, I realized why, because she really was the co-star of the film. And she is a thief in this film, and she stole every scene. I have to say that she was the standout character and actress in this film. She was great in this, and she was a great foil for him, and they played off very well with one another. Issei Morales comes in as a villain. Did meet him. He's a great guy. And Pom K, if I say that right, she was, of course, in Guardians of the Galaxy as Mantis. So, and we have returning also, which this is the first time there's ever been like a villain returning. I don't remember a villain returning. I guess the villain returned from into Fallout, but he didn't look the same at all between the two movies. I think it was even a different actor. I'll have to look that up. And that is the returning of Vanessa Kirby as the White Widow. She is also from The Crown, and if you saw the trailer, if you did see the film, if you did see the trailer for Napoleon, she's in that too. They just made her hair dark. So and also Greg Tarzan Davis, love the middle name, by the way, who is one of the pilots from Top Gun Maverick. So he brought him in. Carrie Ells also has a very small stint in the film. So we have a little bit of pieces here and there of actors just coming in for little cameos, pretty much, because they don't have big parts. But I guess because it was Mission Impossible, they're like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it. I'll do a couple of days on Mission Impossible. But so the film starts with a little bit of a bang, where if you don't know this plot, the basic plot is about AI. So it's got a little bit of a Terminator-ish type of thing without the body of the robot. So I think it's more along the lines of war games. So that's what I more would liken the villain to here. But it's interesting because we have, and as I said in my little out of the theater review, we have an invisible villain. So it has really no personality. It's kind of like a ghost throughout the film, where it just keeps popping up and messing with things. And it's messing with the people, and it's going through analyzing his the people confronting him, or him, it. I have to say him. It's it. And yeah, it was. I thought that was really interesting, and I saw some other reviews as well, and I agree with the fact that we didn't know enough about the AI system. But maybe we'll get into that. So the big MacGuffin on here is a set. It's a key, but it's broken into two pieces and they connect. So it looks like a cross, which I thought was pretty interesting. And the prop was done pretty well because it lights up and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. But they added a little bit of extra oomph to the MacGuffin, and using that, they were able to, because Ethan Hunt has done magic before. We hide stuff and whatever else. He did like that in the first movie where he was hiding the disc. And he does that again here with the key. And, of course, we also have Haley Atwell's character that is also able to pick pockets, and she kind of does some of the little magic, too. I thought that I liked that. I liked it in the first movie, and I liked it again here. So I did go back and rewatch everything, so I will do like a little ranking of the Mission Impossible films as my personal list. So the action here is off the chain. It really is. I think some of the action scenes are a little bit too long, but the movie is 2.5 to more. It did drag in certain places. Like there were certain places I found myself kind of yawning, and I'm like, all right, let's get some of the dialogue. Not that the dialogue was unnecessary, but I'm just like, let's move it on. The set pieces are great. Being in Venice, the Abu Dhabi scenes with all the horse chase stuff with the sniper stuff that you see in the trailer, and then we have. Did they go back to London? I think that was it. It was Venice. I forgot where else, what parts of the world they were in. But yeah, some of the stuff was, Rome. They were in Rome. So the set pieces were great. And then they were in Norway, I think. Norway with the train. So, of course, if you saw the trailer, you saw a lot of the train stuff. The train stuff is, the airport scene in the beginning was really good. The car chase scene was really good. Haley, she knows how to use her hair acting. That's for sure. Because one of the best parts I liked in Captain Marvel, and I know I'm bringing up that as like almost like sacrilege, but where she's on the train on the subway and she blows her hair out of her face. Haley Atwell does that here too, when she blows her hair out of her face. And I really like that. It's kind of more of a little bit of a character piece, but she did major hair acting in this. I mean, her hair was whipping or whatever else, and then she did her ponytail thing. We did get mask stuff in here. And one thing I do appreciate is normally they put the mask on and it turns into the eyes of whatever. We never see them put contacts in, but they always have the eyes of the other person because, of course, we know the actor is actually acting that role. But here we had Haley Atwell's eyes. They had brown eyes on the thing instead of the other person's. So I thought that was really cool. I really looked for that, and I also looked for the hands, right? And I think they should have changed her nails. She should have painted them a different color or whatever else than the person she was impersonating. So, but they had the same nail palette because I looked at all that stuff. I like looking for little details, but I did really appreciate the eyes. But I'm surprised nobody noticed it, like in the film. None of the other characters noticed the eye change of color. But I really did appreciate the fact that they had that attention to detail, where they put either CG the eyes or they put contact lenses on. So, but the train scene was great at the end, and yeah, I think somebody else said this. Like it's kind of like with John Wick, where each action sequence has its own personality, and I completely agree with that. So again, Tom Cruise does an amazing performance here. Him and Benji play well off one another. And I'll tell you my gripe with the film. All right, and this is and also when you guys see it, if you haven't seen it already, he actually says to Haley Atwell's character, Grace, we have a runaway train. So when you see, if you haven't seen it already, when you see it, and he says that line, ask yourself how he knows that. Because I can't figure out how he knows that. So when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because there will be no reason he would know. So I think that was a hole. Now, this is, again, written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie. He also did Fallout. He also, as far as a writer is concerned, he has some amazing credits behind him. Bruce Geller is, of course, the creator of Mission Impossible, and he's credited as a writer, but he's more credited as a person who created the actual franchise. I used to watch Mission Impossible when I was a kid as a reruns. I used to watch that and Star Trek. And I didn't realize that at the time that Desilu Productions, because that's why they were kind of grouped together, because they were both Desilu Productions. I didn't realize at the time, of course, that was Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. I didn't realize at the time. But of course, I did know I Love Lucy, but I didn't put it all together. Because who would have think that actors, had that kind of foresight to have literally greenlit 2 series that have now extended out to over 50 years each. Isn't that amazing? These things have some serious legs that they created back in the day, and both of them have theme songs that also have lasted till today. And if you're not singing the Mission Impossible theme song as you're leaving the theater, something wrong. I did wait to the end to see if there was an outside of credit sequence, like a mid-credit sequence or even an end-credit sequence. There wasn't any, so you don't have to worry about waiting. So, and of course, there's credits that goes on forever, but I like the music. But anyway, back to McQuarrie. So he's not much he doesn't really have a whole lot of directing experience because everything that he's directed has been Mission Impossible, but he has like more on the writing side. I mean, he wrote The Usual Suspects. That's probably what put him on the map because, that was heralded as an amazing script from day one. But he also wrote Tom Cut Maverick, and he wrote this. He wrote a bunch of stuff. And I think that this film needed another rewrite as far as tweaking for plot. Because we don't know enough about the AI system. We don't know, and this is my biggest gripe. So Isai Morales and Paris, who is Pom Klementif, we don't know anything about their motivations. Nothing. They're basically working for the AI system, but we have no idea why. So is it like it's not like this, but how in a lot of the AI things, I forgot what it was. Was it? Oh shoot! What was the other name of the other thing where the AI was putting everything into interaction because the computer needed it was a twin, and I think it was a Spielberg film. And in fact, Julia, the one from Mission Impossible, was in this film. And he needed the twin, or the computer needed the twin to unlock it. So I forgot what that was called, but that's what it kind of reminded me of, where he was the AI was putting things into motion and it was forcing people to do certain things. And that would be interesting if that was Isai Morales' character, but it's not. It would have been interesting that way, but instead it set it up so it was more personal to Ethan Hunt's character. And Pom, we have no idea why she was the henchman. We just have no idea. And where even in Indiana Jones, we had a little bit more inkling about why the henchmen were working. But when let's compare, since Indiana Jones also has a train scene. So we have Indiana Jones when they have a computer-generated character running on top of the train, and it was so obvious when he jumped from car to car, it moved completely like a video game. Where here we have real people on a real train. I don't know if it was partially CG or whatever. I don't know how they did a lot of that stuff safely. Like we don't see even inklings of cords or anything like that connecting. But what a difference we actually see Pom running on the thing that's in the trailer. And what a difference between that, some of the camera angles and stuff like that in comparison to what they did in Indiana Jones. It's just almost embarrassing for Indiana Jones for what they did in comparison to what we have now in this film. But it did boot. It was playing in 4 different theaters, and I saw it tonight on Thursday night. It wasn't even at night. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Who knows what it's doing now at Thursday night. And 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my theater was sold out. I went into the IMAX theater after it was over. That was pretty much sold out, except for like a couple of seats in the front. And then I went to a couple of the other, it was showing in 4 different theaters. And I went to the back to the other couple of theaters, and they were only like a third full. So people are paying a premium to see this movie on a bigger screen. It's amazing. Of course, at this weekend, people are going to just get whatever they can. That's how I feel about it. They're going to just... and I have no problem seeing this movie again, even at 3 hours long. Because it was an adrenaline hyperdrive and just amazing, some of the stuff. In fact, they even made her such a foil for him that he lost to her several times, where he had to play catch-up, which we've never really seen in a Mission Impossible film, where he continually had to play catch-up. And when we see a good arc with her, she definitely has an amazing arc. And I'll get into that a little bit in spoilers once we wrap up over here. But it's pretty amazing. But it did bump out. I didn't see Indiana Jones in one theater. I went through 15 theaters. I did not see Indiana Jones in one theater. The Miles Morales into Across the Spider-Verse or whatever else, almost full. Sound of Freedom, completely full. And what else was playing that I saw? Oh, the Jennifer Lawrence film, which I never remember the damn name of because it doesn't match. No hard feelings. That was like 2/3 full. I was surprised about that one. And Insidious, maybe 10 people in there, maybe 10. So I don't know if that one's dead now. But even if it is, it made an amazing amount of money in comparison to its budget. So I think they're happy with that. I think they're happy with Patrick Wilson's debut of directing for that. But I don't want to get too much into the storyline for Mission Impossible because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So I want to jump into the thing. But as far let's compare it to Fallout, which is a lot of people are doing because a lot of people have Fallout as their top tier. It's not personally mine, but I can definitely see, especially after just watching again, that Fallout. Fallout didn't have a whole lot. No, it was the one before that didn't have a lot of ending where we had the knife fights and stuff like that. But this one, we did have the fight scene with Henry at the end of Fallout, which was good. I gotta admit that whole thing was great. So this one here had a lot of stuff going on, of course, with the train. And again, I can't really go into what happens on the train, but the train stuff was really good. It was really good for an ending, and of course, the villains were not beat, which is why we have part 2, of course. But in comparison to Fallout, I think it's on the same line as Fallout. If you liked Fallout, you're going to like this. Again, we just have a problem with the motivation of the characters. Hopefully, we'll get into it in part 2 because we didn't get a whole lot there. Isai looks good, especially for his age, and has got great charisma, and he definitely came off as a villain. But there wasn't enough meat on him. I really wanted a little bit more. And Vanessa Kirby did a really great job. She plays that middle of the road character. But yeah, I would give this thing, I have to give it a 9, man. I loved it. I thought it was great. It has its problems. It's not a 10. It's probably more of an 8.5 because it does have problems with the script. But as far as an entertaining film, you can't get a better entertaining film. Where you care about the characters, you're sitting on the edge of your seat a lot of the time, and we don't really get to see the threat like in war games. But that may be coming. So, but I liked how the computer was messing with people almost throughout, because it was trying to go through all the possibilities. So it was trying to predict what people would do. And a lot of times it was right. And that was a very interesting concept and plot points in there that it was predicting certain things. And by predicting certain things, it was making certain things happen. So I thought that was a nice juxtaposition there. But anyway, I'm going to get to spoilers real quick. But before I do, again, I wanted to thank you for watching and give my little plug for my stuff. So we have my Vampire Mob in the 50s, Lords of LA. It's my personal comic. It's got 48 pages, so it's issue 1 and 2. You can purchase that in the link below at destinyaurora.net. We are going to be releasing the new one shortly on Kickstarter. We have Destiny Aurora, which is my sci-fi series. It comes from a 4-book series, an RPG, and a board game. And this is basically sci-fi, where you have plenty of robots and dog fighting and aliens and all that good stuff. And this is 150 pages for only $20. And it does have a full story in it. And my new fantasy novel, Tales from Ravenor, The Iron Witch, just came out. We're fulfilling that on Kickstarter right now. It is 400 pages, but there's plenty of new magic system. And if you like D&D, we are making a D&D module out of it, creating new worlds, etc. All right, so we're going to get into, thank you again, and if you would like any of that stuff autographed, etc., make sure you click the link below. The links below also have all of my social media. All right, so let's get into spoilers real quick, and that'd be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shut me off or don't. Okay, so let's talk about spoilers here. So also, along with the train, where him not possibly being able to know that it was a runaway train. On top of that, I found it kind of convenient that he crashed right through the right car at exactly the right time to save her life. I thought that was pushing it. Also, when he gets to her trying to shut off the train or trying to stop the train, the body of the dude was no longer there. So did she cut him down and throw him off the train? What did she do with him? I expected them to see his body like sitting somewhere. Maybe she cut him down so it wasn't, hitting the tooting the horn the whole time. But we don't know what happened to that body. He just disappeared. So I thought that was kind of a hole. And the other thing is, I really like her arc. Okay, so let's compare Atwell's character Grace to Indiana Jones's Helena Shaw. With Helena Shaw, we never see the motivation to change her. She just changed on a dime. Where in this one, we see Haley Atwell's character, who is a Catwoman type character. She's all in it for herself. She's in it for the money. She doesn't care about anything. But after the speeches from the other characters, which now made it more, they made IMF more like Femme Nikita, where, you know, they were in trouble and they were given, you know, this thing because they had no other options for their life, which I thought was kind of strange. I never saw the IMF that way, but it was interesting. Okay, whatever. But she's literally sitting there having the money go through, and she can either hit accept or not. And we're wondering, is she going to do it or not? I mean, we were saying, is she going to turn? And we knew that was the turning point for her, which I thought was great. That was really, really well done, I thought. And we actually see her turn. Now, we don't know exactly what was going through her head at the time, but I thought that was really interesting. But what we don't see is Pom's character, Paris, making that turn. And I thought that was bad. We have no setup for this character at all. And having her, you know, smile while she's driving through the motorcycles and chasing him and getting pissed off when she's, that whole chase scene when she missed him and with the little car, I thought that was great too. But all that was really good, but we don't have any setup where he lets her live and that means something to her. We should have had at least a little dialogue from her saying, anytime I'm in a fight, nobody's ever going to let me live, so I'm going to make sure to kill everybody. That's all she has to say. She has to just say one line so we know what that means, what the gravity of letting her live means, you know? And we don't. That's never set up unless it's in some of the outtakes. So when Ethan lets her live, her coming out of left field to protect him at the end and then save him, even though she's dying, which is odd. You know, she's basically, you know, has internal bleeding at this point, but she's, you know, 5'2" and 100 pounds, and she pulls him up with Haley attached to the back of that. So I thought that was pushing it, but I didn't buy that. And then Grace calls Ethan over to show that she's dying because they didn't realize at the time when she goes slumps in the chair. And he says, just stay with me, but he just uses her. He just purely uses her and doesn't thank her for doing that or praising her for her bravery or any of it. And I thought that was weak. So those are where my little clips are, where the script needed just a little bit of tweaking to fill in those holes, because there are holes in there, and they're obvious holes. When really, and I hate when this happens, when literally a piece of dialogue, one of dialogue, would actually solve the problem. So, because that's all it really needed. You know, Pom's character, Esai Morales' character, you know, what did the AI promise him, right? The AI had to promise him something. Well, the whole thing doesn't work, right? But hopefully we'll find that out. But right now, he's nebulous. And Pom's character, too. What was her motivation? Why was she there with him? Why did she not have a problem? She obviously had no loyalty to him because she turned on a dime. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of that, because those are my problems with the film. Am I just being overly touchy about it, or are those problems actually, you know, really glaring to anyone else? Michelle from Force of Light did not like Ilsa's death, but it was set up already. I mean, everybody knew she was going to die once they were in that room, and the II was talking through Esai and saying, you know, we're going to kill somebody you love. We knew exactly who that was. And so I liked the fight scene, but we all knew she was going to die. I will miss her too. I thought she was a great addition. But the women are having problems with the fact that there was no kiss scene or anything like that. There was no romance in it. Being a guy, that doesn't really matter to me. but I can see how they have pissed a lot of the women off. But again, she was already dead, right? She wasn't like she was half alive when he got there. She was dead. And but you're right. He wouldn't have kissed her on the lips, but he could have kissed her on her cheek or her forehead or something like that, and held her closer. I thought that maybe that would have been better. Instead, they really showed her nothing. So I thought that was a missed opportunity, but not to the point where some of the women are saying. I thought that the fight scene was pretty decent with the sword. He did get her, and she got him a couple of times, although we don't ever see him bleed or anything like that. So I thought that was a mistake where we didn't see her damage him at all. Would have been nice to see some kind of damage, because then again they were fighting on the train. And he looked fine to me, even with the hole in his neck. Well, that was after. And the other guy that was chasing him, I forgot what he's from, but I've seen him obviously a bunch of times. So anyway, that's it for me. Enjoyed the film. I thought that the little alterations would have been really good. And I liked how, Cary Elwes thought he had something, but really didn't. Although that was pretty good too. All right. Again, one more tell you to like and subscribe and hit the bell and the whole bit. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate that. And let me know what you guys think of the film. And was there more stuff in there that should have been fixed that I didn't see? All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks again.